made a video of the birth of the cow and brought it in. She had all the other students fascinated by her project, and as a group, they learned how to upload it to YouTube. Not download, but upload. And when they uploaded to YouTube, they got 100,000 hits. And as the teacher said, she never imagined that an assignment she gave would get 100,000 hits. The child who did it transformed that child. The child was not in any way the best in the class, but she became suddenly much more passionate about learning. And it's those stories that make me realize how important it is, in spite of some of the criticism, which I'll talk about in a moment. I'm going to go through these very quickly. These all happen to be Uruguay. Many of the kids go to school on a horse. These are kids that some tourists found. So there are just lots of examples. But I'm going to skip, because I'm a little short on time, to sort of much more recent work that looks at the next generation. This is a little over maybe 2.5 years, 3 years old. We started looking at other ways to do this from a technology point of view, and then finally went to the tablet about 2 years ago. About 6 months before the iPad, we introduced these images. And we were determined to build this, which was too hard, it turned out, technically, so we built this. This is what we announced 3 days ago. It got a lot of attention in the press over the last few days, and it's a very, very simple concept. No holes in it. Drop it from 20 meters. Takes less than 1 watt. Very, very low power. And has in it a solar panel. So when you lift the cover, you generate power to run the laptop. And that's very important. And this is, at the moment, ready to go. And it's very, very, it seems to be a lot of demand. Now what we're doing, I'll go back to this picture, what we're doing is a new project, which is an experiment. It's a small project. When I say small, if we look at 1 laptop per child over the past 5 years, it has spent about $1 billion. That's a very big project. And that counts the purchase of the laptops and the teams in the field and so on. The next project is a $3 million project, a much smaller project. And it's a simple question. And the question is, can children learn how to read on their own? Now, this may have been mentioned in the introduction. I wasn't able to listen to the introduction, but if children can learn how to read on their own, if you can learn to read, you can read to learn. And that's a very important change, because 100 million children do not go to first grade. And they do not go to first grade because there isn't one. Some of them are maybe in the fields because their parents want their help, but most of those 100 million children are just not near a school, or near enough to a school. So what we're doing in it is simply to take any tablet, be this one or another tablet, and bring it into the villages that are 100% illiterate. And the first ones went in 2 days ago. To villages that have more than 10, but less than 20 children, and that have no adults who can read and write. Eventually, they'll be dropped out of helicopters, which is more of an image that suggests no human intervention. At the moment, they're brought in by trusted, maybe medical dispensary or people who are trusted by the locals, and they're given to the children. And they're loaded with movies, books, games. And the question is, after, let's say, a year or a year and a half, will the children be able to read? At the moment, it's in English. In many countries in first grade teach the children to read and write English. Sierra Leone, Liberia, Papua New Guinea, Guyana. So many developing countries use English already, so it's not quite as imperialistic as it sounds. And if the children can read, then I think the world banks of this world will pay attention. So I want to leave you with three rather general concepts. And then I have to sadly run off to an airplane. And I put these together this morning as I was thinking about what I heard yesterday, what I saw actually this morning as well. And never argue against indoor plumbing. And why do I say that? There were people who argued against indoor plumbing very violently. And they said it will destroy the fabric of the village. Because the women, when they go to the well, that is their opportunity to socialize. And if they don't have to go to the well, they won't, and the social structure of the village will fall apart. You know that's not true. I know that's not true. But all of us accidentally, at times, argue against indoor plumbing accidentally. People tell me that social networks are going to destroy face-to-face communication. We know that's not true. The second thing is that the world in general, business, our lives, has really been like a fried egg. Your parents, certainly your grandparents, lived a fried egg life. And by that I mean the yellow was distinct and the white was distinct. It was a sharp edge between them. You went to work, and then you left work to go home and be with your family. And that was like the yolk and the white. You played, that was, let's say, the white. And you worked, that was the yolk. You can see in many areas crisp boundaries, whereas life has become an omelet, much more intermixed. And just recognize it, enjoy it, take advantage of it, because we're all living an omelet life to one degree or another. And then as a last and closing remark, for those of you involved in computers and learning, whether it's children or adults, is always remember the difference between learning and teaching. Teaching is just one way to have learning happen. And there are many, many others, and I hope you engage with them. I hope you use computers in many, many different ways to see learning in the world go up. Because when that happens, there will be far more peace, far better environment, far better health. Thank you very much.